Hi, this is William Friedman for the Cross Country Local, and I have leg 2 mapped out, and I think this is pretty close to final. Of course, anything can happen on the route, but here's what it looks like right now. The goal is to get from Philly to Pittsburgh. And of course, getting through Philly is easy enough. SEPTA is certainly a perfectly adequate mass transit system, and it takes me out to Thorndale in western Chester County. From there, there's a local Chester County transit system called TMAC that'll take me past Thorndale into Coatesville and finally into Sadsbury. And from Sadsbury, it's only about a 5-mile walk to a town appropriately named Gap, which is where one picks up, or Lancaster County's Red Rose system, and that would take me into Lancaster and then up to Elizabethtown. I should say, though, that before I go any further, the debt that I owe to, first of all, a friend, Catherine Pendrell, who suggested Couchsurfing.com, and then to Couchsurfing.com, and all the people who have volunteered to help me along. For instance, one stop before Thorndale is Downingtown, and someone in Downingtown has offered to let me use her couch for the evening of the second day, and she has a daughter who lives in Lancaster, so it happens to be on her way to drop me at Gap, so that's a hike I won't have to take. And then I go to Lancaster and Elizabethtown, and again in Elizabethtown, I've got a couch to sleep on and a lift the next morning, the 7 miles up to Middletown, which is where I would pick up CAT, the Capital Area Transit, which would take me into Harrisburg and then not much farther, just across the Susquehanna River into a town called Enola. And that's pretty much where you fall off the end of the earth. There are public transit shuttles that go to Carlisle, and from Carlisle I can get to Chambersburg, but from there, not much going over the Appalachian Mountains. Anyway, I am very fortunate in that I've got a way of traversing the 60 miles from Enola to Lewistown. And this is sheer luck. I happen to be from Pennsylvania originally, which means that I happen to have a lot of classmates who went to Penn State. And of those classmates who went to Penn State, I got back in touch with many of them when Facebook started to be a thing. And one of my classmates from Allentown, Pennsylvania, over here, ended up deciding she liked living around the State College area where Penn State is, and she bought a farm right here, smack dab in the middle between Harrisburg and Lewistown. So she is going to pick me up in Harrisburg, let me crash on her couch, and then give me a lift into Lewistown. And yeah, there are other ways I could have done this. First of all, I could have taken Amtrak, I could have taken Greyhound. They both go from here to there. I could have taken paratransit, but that really wouldn't have been in the spirit of paratransit. Paratransit is basically so that seniors or the disabled or the visually impaired can get to the doctor and the grocery store and run other errands with dignity. A 60-mile road trip just seemed to be pushing it, so I decided not to pursue that. But you know what? Serendipity, I think, is an entirely reasonable thing to expect at times on a journey like this. So consider this gap here my phone a friend, and really quite literally. From there, it gets really easy, though. From Lewistown to State College, there is a van pool run by CATA, which is the State College Area Transit Authority, and for a small, ruralish kind of system, they provide some great service. So not only can they put me on a van from Lewistown to State College, where I'll be staying the weekend, they're also going to be putting me on a van. Well, originally they were going to send me to Altoona, and I said, well, that would be great, but I tell you something. After Altoona, I've got a gap getting to Ebensburg. And they said, oh, well, we've got a van that goes to Ebensburg too. So thank you very much, Terry from CATA. You really saved me a lot of steps there. And I've got friends I'll be staying with in State College. I have been offered a room at a delightful bed and breakfast, and you'll be hearing more about that when I get there. And from Ebensburg, it's really all downhill. There's Camtran, the Cambria County Transit, from Evanstown to Johnstown. I've got another couch surf in Johnstown, and next morning I get up and I take the bus from Johnstown to Latrobe, which I understand is how it's pronounced, not Latrobe like in the Rolling Rock commercials. And from Latrobe, there's a bus to Greensburg, and from Greensburg into Pittsburgh on WCTA, that's Westmoreland County Transit. And from there, I'm still working on my ride from Pittsburgh to Wheeling, but that's leg three, and we'll talk about that some other time. So for the cross country local, this is William Friedman, and I'll see you on the route.